Well, this is an article from Game Rant by Truman 2. Big budget John Wick video game in development. An executive at Lionsgate confirms that a video game based on the action packed John Wick franchise is currently in early development. The first film was considered a comeback for Keanu Reeves when it initially premiered, filled with plenty of action set pieces, a thrilling atmosphere, and an intriguing backdrop with its neo noir elements. This one film then expanded with a set of sequels, with the fourth John Wick film premiering in theaters earlier this year. Like the previous three movies, it received plenty of critical and commercial success. The franchise isn't stopping anytime soon, with Lionsgate's looking to expand it beyond just films. These extensions of the John Wick universe have been announced as a series of spin-off media, including TV shows, films, and video games. The Continental TV series, for example, will answer several questions about the universe, while Ballerina is a spin-off movie that stars a retired ballerina assassin using lore that was established in the third film. A game based on the franchise is also in early development. This tidbit was revealed in Lionsgate's earning call for Q4 2023, where its motion picture group chairman, Joe Drake, confirms alongside a fifth John Wick film in its early development, the studio is looking at producing a regular series of spin-offs. More specifically, it is looking towards the AAA video game space alongside the aforementioned TV spin-offs. There wasn't much revealed about this possible game at this time, with Drake focused on the slate of TV shows and films revolving around the franchise. In terms of what's next for the John Wick franchise, Ballerina, we don't need to know about that. John Wick has had a foray into the video game space before, as seen with 2019's John Wick Hex, a strategy game developed by Bothel Games and is a prequel to the films. While it's a strategy game, most fans would likely prefer a game that captures the action in the same vein as games like Slop Clap Sifu, or one that learns into Wick being a former Hitman like IO Interactive Hitman series of games.
Definitely supposed to be Slow Clap, not Slop Clap.
Yeah, I was like, Slop Clap? I never heard of that before.
Yeah, no.
Catchy name.
So yeah, cool. John Wick. Fun movies. I didn't play John Wick Hex, but the people who did play it seemed to enjoy it, even though they weren't. Like, you think John Wick, you don't think strategy/puzzle game, but, you know, it looked cool. People who played it liked it. And as you were reading the story, I even looked up Slow Clap, because I was like, who are the Sifu guys? Because they would make a really cool John Wick game, you know? Just, put a little gun in that guy's hand, and that's going to be a great game. Sifu, one of my favorite games from last year, so Slow Clap, definitely up their alley right there. And then they mentioned IO Interactive, who are a little busy with James Bond right now. I think they would rather James Bond than John Wick, but certainly
make those
cool,
kind of
certainly
games.
exciting. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think John Wick is perfect for AAA action video game type IP. You know, like that's gonna honestly probably do better in the game space than the movie space.
You know, Tavin, I remember there was a time, and you remember it too, since you grew up in it, where the licensed games were just a joke. Instantly. It was like, okay, it's going to be horrible. And you'd be surprised, like games with King Kong and Shrek 2.
There were some gems in there.
There were some gems, exactly. Lord of the Rings. But it's weird to have just like a lot more optimism when it comes to these games, which is also kind of weird because at the same time we have better games, but worse games because they don't come out working as much, or at least the big ones aren't coming out working as much. But it's just a very strange time. It really transitionary.
Really a double-edged blade, isn't it?
Yeah,
this industry is like it kind of always has been. I think the thing about it is that like the industry has grown up a little bit. You know, like we're in a space now where these big deals mean a lot more than what they used to. They used to make these licensed video games for cheap. And you felt it, You would have less experienced developers working on IPs to, crunch out a video game and have like a terrible 6 to 8 months of just working really hard on this one video game to put it on your resume. So then you could go work for one of the big guys, one of the big PlayStation or Xbox or whatever guys. Whereas now the IPs are going, you know what makes a lot more sense? If we take our big famous IP over here and we give it to the big guys, because that costs more money, but the revenue is higher. Spider-Man is a great example of that, where we had a bunch of middling Spider-Man games, but then Marvel Games was formed and said, hey, no, we want to treat this seriously, and they reached out and got Insomniac, and Insomniac's one of the best in the industry, and wouldn't you know it, they put out the best Spider-Man game.
Yep, and as you said just a little bit ago, the video game of John Wick would make more money than the movies because the video game industry has grown bigger and now it eclipses the film industry. And you got the big name out there.
Well,
John
I
Wick's
mean,
a
a lot of
household
that
name.
is due to like the mobile game type shit. Like, and it's not like we're like making more money off of fucking Sifu, you know? Like,
Definitely not Sifu, not them. But it'll bring in a lot of money just having the John Wick name attached to it. It'd be cool if it's a Sifu-like game. That's kind of what sticks into my head as kind of other than fighting games, as the way to portray martial arts in video games.
yeah, I think that's what we're all kind of looking for, is something like that. And honestly, I think it'd be a big level up for Slow Clap, which I think they're ready for. So, yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes and what comes of it. I mean, it could be anybody. It could, once upon a time, I would have said Insomniac, but they're busy doing Marvel games right now, so they don't need that. Oh, man, it's hard to think of somebody off the top of my head that I would like, because everyone is just so... This is the problem, is that we have a pretty good idea of what everybody's doing, Now, granted, we're probably not seeing this for easily 5-6 years, but it's just kind of cool to know about it now.